Hey, shalom, shalom. Anak Nawaha Ibaya Sha'ala. Hey, we the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. Hey, first and foremost, I want to say, call Halayim La, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakdash. Hey, double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Mill, so on the torch of truth and rule well. Hey, much respect to you, brothers out there, Christians truth, who are all righteousness, and sincerely, shalom, shalom. All right, so, just wanted to go into a couple precepts. I read the book, the Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave. Just going into the inception of our people in Babylon, and just the outcome, or just how we're doing thus far. You see, and the state of us as a people without the truth. Because that's essentially what happened to us in America. You see, Jake was we was without the truth at one point. And for the majority, they still without the truth. The Lord left a remnant, being the elect. But let's start with some precepts. I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. All right, which essentially states what would happen to us if we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. It's Deuteronomy 28 and 15. It reads, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that I..." But I'm reading from the top. It says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." You see, and that's what happened. The curses came upon us and they overtook us. You see, But I'm gonna skip down to verse 56. All right. It says, "The tender and delicate woman among you." You see, this is going to the Israelite woman, and what happened to the woman from as a result from the curses. All right. It says, "Which would not venture to set her soul, to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicate." "The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter." All right. Because the Israelite woman is through, and I got an example of that in the scriptures, because they have been become dependent upon Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Just bear with me. Basically, let me see. What happened with Eve, she put, what happened with Eve, Esau put her at a place where she was mentally independent, so-called independent, but physically, she couldn't do nothing. You see, so she was totally dependent upon this man's system. You see, that's why we see Eve relying on the system now, with the SNAP, with the different benefits, the Section 8, free money, child support and stuff like that, because they benefit and they depend on Esau's system, and that's a result of the curses. You see, because we went off against we went off and we sinned against the Lord. Let's keep going down to verse. Actually, I wanted to get to verse 54 before I got 56, but this says, "So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave." You see, that's why you see a lot of Jake fathers, or a lot of kids are fatherless. But see, I want to get the point I want to grab out of this. It says, "His eye shall be evil toward his brother." You see, and Esau knew that, because the scriptures say that Esau is a cunning hunter. You see, so he studied Jake over a period of time. You see, he's very crafty. You know, so he knows that if you divide Jake, then you're able to conquer the nation. And that's what he did. You see, he did that with colorism, politics, getting Jake involved in politics, so-called religions, and just various different things that he was able to conquer Jake with. And I got an example of that in the precepts. This is Mark chapter 3. And verse 27, it says, no man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. You see, and that's what happened to the Jake man. You see, he binded the strong man. You know, he made the strong man look weak, you know, so that the woman in turn would not depend on who she was naturally supposed to go to for protection and help. You know, he made the Israelite woman feel as if she was so-called independent. You see, and the book also went into how the Israelite man was going to be mentally weak, you see, but physically strong, so that basically he ain't had no rule over his spirit. You see, and what you get with that, it ties into play with the eye being evil towards the brother, because if you look at America, Babylon the Great, you know, the scriptures say that Jake is like a wild bull in a net. You see, violence, you know. But I'm go to Jeremiah chapter 31 and 22, because this is another result of the curses. Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 22, it says, verse 22, how long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. You see, and that was done over a period of time. You see, and it was heavy during the suffrage movement. You see, to where these women feeling like they above the man. You see, and you go into the word compass, it means basically that verse is going into how it was basically a reversal of the roles. You know, having the woman before the man, and that's what happened in America, Babylon the Great. You see, the woman is before the man. You know, but we'll go to Jeremiah 3 and 6, because this is a result of the curses. All right, Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 6. It says, the Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? She has gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot. You see, and that was another thing inside the Willie Lynch letter. You know, and people say it's controversial, you see, but the stuff that's in that book is true. You know, and it go back to the curses. But basically, what Esau did was he turned the mind into it said like a vacuum, and you go into the word vacuum, it means of course you got the invention, but it means nothingness. You see, so they put balls inside nothingness, which is Jake's mind, you know, and just have the balls going around of nothingness. You see, and that's those different green trees and stuff like that. The green trees representing you know. So I'm gonna read it again. This is Jeremiah 3 and 6. It says, the Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? She has gone up upon every high mountain, under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot. You see, and again, those balls represent the different philosophies and the different ways of life that Jake subscribed to. You see, that's how we played the harlot, you know, by just, you know, committing spiritual adultery and idolatry, you know. Let's go to Psalm chapter 2. Psalm chapter 2 and verse 1. All right, because the heathen, you see, they all conspired together to destroy us as a nation and as a people, you know. This is Psalm chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? You see that vain thing being to destroy us as a nation, you know. The kings of the earth set themselves and rulers take counsel together. Psalm chapter 83, against the Lord and against his anointed, which are the Israelites, all right, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords. And cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. You see, and the Lord is laughing because it's a vain thing. It's not going to come to pass, you know. So let's go to Psalm chapter 83. This is Psalm 83 and 1. It says, keep not thou silence, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. You see, in the great pride, you know, thinking that their plans was going to actually, you know, work. All right. Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, the Israelites, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. You see, let me get a quick precept because this is what they did. All right. This is Jeremiah chapter 12. Verse 9, it says, mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about her are against her, and the birds represent the nations. It says, as a speckled bird, because you got the diaspora, you know, we were scattered as a people. You see, so it's going to be Israelites that look like the other nations as well. It says, mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about her are against her, being the other nations. Come, ye assemble, all the beasts of the field come to devour. And that's what they did, you see. But ultimately, it's not going to come to pass in totality. All right. Because it's a vain thing, you know. Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom and Ishmael, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Jabal, Ammon, Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have opened the children of Lot, Salah. You see, so all the heathen had a part to play in our in the destruction of our people. You see, and they're not going to go unpunished. You see, because the Lord requires that which is past. All right. Let's go to Psalm chapter 50 and verse 21, because again, this is a vain vision of the heathen. Psalm 50 and verse 21. It says, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. This is referring to Esau, Edom. All right. And those that was, you know, Esau, Edom had the other heathen to help him out. It says, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such and one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them order before thine eyes. You see, and the Lord he brought the truth back. You see, so the men of the Lord are being set in order before the heathen's eyes. You see, and they're becoming afraid, you know. Let's go to 2 Chronicles. Actually, let's get Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 1. We'll start at verse 4. It says, a sinful nation. Well, we'll start from verse 3. Verse 2. It says, hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. Talking about you Negroes, Latinos, you Native Americans, you Israelite foreigners. You see, and those that are like the other nations. All right. And the West Indians and Haitians. All right. we sinned against the Lord. All right, verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doeth not know, my people doeth not consider. You see, they don't even think they don't think upon the curses that came upon us as a nation. You see, they're comfortable here in America, Babylon the Great. So they don't even consider that because we under the curses, you know, they might be the children of the Lord, you know, or that they are the children of the Lord. They don't even think about it. You see, you'll tell Jake, hey, you know, you the greatest people on the planet of the earth, and they'll be like, no, I don't want to hear that. You see, verse 4. Sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers. You see, because the scriptures say that 2/3